Hey everybody, Ryan McCaffrey from IGN's Xbox team, joined by fellow podcast Unlocked superstar and all-around awesome guy, Destin Legary.
Hey Ryan.
Hi. Try not to cough on mic. I know you're battling a little sore throat action, so...
I'm doing okay.
If there's a cough, blame Destin.
I apologize.
We're here, we're on week 8 already of Halo 4's Spartan Ops, our weekly downloadable, episodic, story-driven campaign.
Week 8, 1 week after the spectacular week 7.
Yeah, 7 proved to be lucky number indeed. If you have not played Chapter 7, go back and check out our recap, either on YouTube or on IGN. We gush a lot about it. It essentially fulfilled every bit of potential that we thought that Spartan Ops could have.
Oh yeah.
Just the mission variety and the integration of the story into those missions. And so now we're on week 8, Destin, and unfortunately we've fallen back into some of our old traps.
Yeah, reuse levels, etc. Menace, like meh-ness. Yeah.
MEHNESS.
Yeah.
I'm with you now. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, all 5 chapters this week. You know, we've been gushing since Spartan Ops came back from its mid-season break. Episode 6, Episode 7 were all new levels, no rehashes. But this week, week 8, we are back. All 5 missions, all 5 chapters were rehashes. So let's start. Chapter 1 was the same Chapter 1 as last week, called Apex. And just on last week's commentary, it was... you, me, and Mitch on the commentary, and we loved how it kind of had a Halo 1 vibe. You were on the planet, but it was a very vast, like blue sky, oceans in the distance, green hills, and you were doing lots of cool stuff. Remember that was you could actually fail. You had to go protect a friendly Phantom that your guys had stolen.
Yeah, that's the one we took a few tries to get.
Yeah. And so that same level this week. So first, by the way, you pointed it out right away. You called it as soon as we started playing Spartan Ops this week. What Palmer's instructions were, oh, hey, turns out the Covenant are still down here. I guess you guys better go in and clean up. Yeah. And right away you're like, oh, that's a great... Right away we're justifying why we're back here recycling these same levels again. And so...
Like, they're trying to write around it.
Yeah, there was no Mantis on it this week the way there was last week. There were no vehicles at all, actually.
Nothing that stood out.
Yeah, you just had to
like this is unique. This is kind of cool.
You just had to close portals, which we've done 1,000 times before in Spartan Ops. So, yeah, Chapter 1, while it looked pretty, it just was nowhere near as impactful or as fun as it was in Episode 7. So then we moved to Chapter 2, which I had a good time in this one. This might have been my favorite one of the 5 this week. But we were back on the multiplayer map Vortex, which we've seen, which we have played Spartan Ops on before.
Yeah. Great map.
Yeah, great map, and we had to...
I've seen it before.
Yeah,
but great map.
In Spartan Ops and, of course, in multiplayer when we play all the time. But we got Warthogs, and it was mainly... we seem to settled into roles. You do the shooting, and I do the driving. Which
I think I had 96 kills, and you had like
20-something.
20.
But they don't show the assists. I would have had 1 billion assists.
You had so many Wheelman medals.
Yeah, I did. It was a lot of fun. So, yeah, we had to go around destroying some...
Like a shield generator,
some shield
generators, and then the thing would blow up. The cannon would blow up.
Yeah, and we had some wraiths to deal with, which you would hop out and just go jump on the back of, which was a good time.
Because I play stealth, so I just let's activate my stealth camo, plasma it, blow it up.
Worked well. Yeah. You know, we always play on legendary, and it's a good strategy that works. So yeah, I mean, again, it was rehashed, but I did enjoy that. Vortex with Warthogs was a lot of fun. Moving to Chapter 3 was that same rocky area we saw from... I can't remember if it was last week or week 6 now. Oh, it was week 6, because last week was all on the Infinity. So yeah, from episode 6.
So let me just interrupt you there for a second. Is it bad that when you say rocky area, it's hard for me to remember which rocky area you're talking about?
It's a little bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm, of course, using the dumbest, most generic description ever. So it was, the area from week 6 with the
There's
little...
like some spiral rock
and the streams running through. And here's, what'll jog your memory. In week 6, it was the level where, at the very beginning of it, you had the option to stealth kill all those sleeping grunts.
Oh,
remember?
okay. Yeah.
It's that same level. So, again...
Much more boring.
Yeah, we did have... it was. We did have a warthog, and we used it a lot, even though the driving... It was kind of tight to move around. We had to take on more wraiths. Wraiths were a big theme this week. A lot of wraiths to take out.
And I think this was also the first mission where we saw elites using Prothean technology?
Promethean.
Promethean, sorry.
You're mixing your Mass Effect with your with your Halo. We were at one point getting gunned down by elites carrying scatter shots. I was like, that's not a good combination for me. That hurts.
Yeah.
That hurts.
It was kind of cool to see them holding something else. Maybe we're building up towards something in the next 2 chapters.
Yeah, maybe. Again, it was fine, but it was just like, okay, we did this. We did this 2 weeks ago, and then chapter 4 brought us back to the first chapter of week 6. When we first came back from the mid-season break. That area it was just basically like literally that combat bowl.
Yeah.
Where it was just a ring of action with, again, 2 wraiths on either side and platforms kind of up high. It was sort of a bowl atrium style thing, and we fought our way through and had some hunters. It was fun. You and I had fun dealing with the hunters. We actually did the perfect strategy where we were on opposite sides of him, and I would shoot, and he would turn his back to you, and you would shoot, and he would turn, and the hunter would turn around. So it was fun again, but just nothing. Just such a letdown from last week. It's just nowhere, none of the same sort of synergy between the story and the mission design.
Not a lot of impact or unique elements. Like Mission 7, like you break out of the reins right away, or is that Mission 6?
Episode, you mean episode?
Episode 6, you're tied up.
That was the beginning of 6. That was right after the mid-season break.
We have all these like hallmarks of like taking out sleeping grunts, and I didn't really feel like, except for in the next part, I didn't really feel like there was too much like that this week.
Right. So, chapter 5, the final...
So, hold up. Episode 8, chapter 5. Chapters, right?
Yes.
Okay. A little confusing with the naming
I know.
convention.
We've been doing this 8 weeks, and we still can't keep it straight. Yeah. Episodes are the overarching, that's what we get each week, and the chapters are the things within...
segments within
each episode.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. So, chapter 5, closing it out this week, was another rehash. It was the same... that campaign space that we played again in week 6, but this had a nice little interesting twist. We were tasked with defending certain points on it, and when that would happen,
when we had control of the points, they were ours, and the turrets and stuff would defend.
There were infrastructure turrets, laser turrets that would attack our enemies, and they actually got progressively better till finally by the end of it. Yeah. We were taking out. They were on their own. The turrets were taking out phantoms.
Yeah, and that was pretty fun. It was kind of fun to use the technology to our advantage. I feel like that's the biggest exclamation point of this whole episode.
Well, you raised an interesting point. You were like, "Hey, this could potentially be a neat multiplayer game type."
Yeah,
right?
It's like King of the Hill.
Sort of like almost King of the Hill meets Dominion, right?
Yeah.
So could potentially be something fun that maybe, who knows, maybe 343 was using it as a test to potentially roll out in War Games matchmaking in the future. You never know.
Or when they bring Firefight back.
For Halo 5, it's going to happen.
Yeah, I hope so. I miss Firefight. I miss Grunpocalypse.
I do too.
Stuff like that.
We've covered that a million times before.
Sorry.
So that's episode 8. Again, just hardly terrible, because we got to a point in the first half of the season where we were so bored, quite frankly, and it was not boring this week, but it was. I mean, there was nothing. There were no new spaces, not a single drop of new geography.
Yeah, they may have written themselves into a corner, or at least kind of hurt themselves by using those spaces so much in the first 5 episodes. And then it's hard to go back to them now. They're changing day-night cycles, though, and adjusting them slightly, but we still recognize them. We recognize them from the campaign in the first half of the story.
What is interesting about that, of course, that's been the one constant every week, is the story with the cutscene has been interesting. And this week,
improved.
Spoilers, obviously, if you're listening to this, Dr. Halsey beams away. She ends up down. She voluntarily gets kidnapped. She allows herself. She sort of stages her own kidnapping by the elites, and then she unlocks that artifact that the Covenant had been working with, that Dr. Glassman, that they were forcing him to try and solve the mysteries of. She, of course, solves it in 2 seconds because she's super smart.
Oh yeah.
And then the elite's like, oh no, I have to be the first, because they think it's some sort of godlike, God in the machine type thing. And she's the one that runs into the laser beam, and we don't know where she is.
Mystery.
And on top of that, the other amazing thing that happened in the cutscene is we get an appearance. So Lasky is on the video communication talking with who I found out from a fellow Halo superfan that's read all the books here at IGN, the head of Oni. So the woman that he's talking to, that Lasky is talking to on the video screen, is the head of Oni, and she orders Halsey's assassination.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And what's neat about that is, do you think that's going to be resolved in the next 2 weeks, or could that lead as something of a cliffhanger, some sort of lead-in for Halo 5, where Halsey is MIA and Chief has to find her? What if Master Chief finds out that Oni has basically put a hit out on Mom, on the creator of the Spartan program? He's going to be really pissed off.
Yeah, exactly. And Lasky is known for not obeying orders. He didn't obey them in the campaign experience, and maybe he's like, I don't like this order. And maybe he's going to tell Chief, because him and Chief are pretty buddy-buddy.
That's right.
At the end of
They
Halo
were
4.
bros in Halo 4.
And honestly, I think we've been building towards a Master Chief appearance at the end of this story.
I hope so. I hope you're right. I mean, obviously he won't be playable because
it'll be like in a final, like after you beat Chapter 10 or Episode 10. Sorry, you'll get like a glimpse or something. I'm hoping we see that.
That would be amazing. So that is Spartan Ops Episode 8. For Destin Legary, I'm Ryan McCaffrey. For all of your Halo 4 coverage, Spartan Ops, War Games, DLC map packs, everything, you're already in the right place. IGN.